Okay, just waiting until about 10 people are in the room. Hi guys, we're going to take this box apart in the next maybe 15-20 minutes. And I have a box cutter here, and I have some gloves and a mask. Given what we know about previous Lion reactors Cu2O, and the fact that it was made to apparently emit strange radiation in February of this year from a reactor that ran in June or July, I think, last year, just by reheating it to 800 degrees for a number of hours. Not sure I want to get any more than necessary exposure to parts of this, so I've got some nitrile gloves here and a little mask to avoid any potential hot particles that might be there or may not be there. It's just a precaution. I think it's wise. We won't actually be doing much testing, but we'll probably be moving the camera around a little bit and having a good look inside. Then either today, but likely tomorrow, I will set the same camera up, masked, to look for strange radiation. And that will be a long-term test, and the camera will save to a local hard drive here. That will be synced almost instantaneously to a Google Drive. And so if an event occurs with Cosmic Ray Finder, you will have access to it probably before I or anyone else gets to see it this end. So there we have it. So got 9 in the room at the moment. So I've got the scales here just in case there's anything we want to do a quick capture of the weight of, just for the record. If you want to ask any questions or direct the opening, then you can go right ahead and do that. So we've got 10 in the room now. Just leave it a couple more minutes, maybe a minute more. Okay. Now we did have a power cut in here earlier today, so I decided to come in a little bit later because it will be giving the Americans an opportunity to watch this, and also still not too late for Europeans. It's just coming up to 11 here. The location I'm in normally shuts at midnight, actually shuts probably in about 40 minutes time, so I need to be aware of that. I hope it won't take more than about 10-15 minutes, but we shall see. Okay, so let's crack this open. I'm going to get my protective stuff on. First, I'll put the mask on. Of course, this is going to be impeding my windbagging, but that's probably not a bad thing. There we go. Do I sound muffled? Actually, you know what? This is some of the face masks that we took to India, and this one actually smells of curry. So it's like I'm in a curry shop here right now. With this on, I hope I'm not too muffled. And I'm going to put these nitrile gloves on. Now I've got a problem. I've done this in the wrong order. Because you know what? It's much easier to blow into these things to open them out a bit before you put your hands in. Looks a bit silly, I know, but anyway. There we go. There's something quite satisfying about putting on that nitrile gloves. I don't know why. I don't know how to say your name, Dakita. Dakita Zoo. I'll call you Dakita Zoo. Yeah, well, these things have to be streamed. It's amazing what you can lose or forget about something if you don't record by video. So I'm going to start making some incisions here. I might have the dullest blade in the world. No, no, no. It's going through nicely. Okay, so handle with care on the inside. Okay. Right. Like Christmas already. So thank you to Ryan for sending this over. So I guess it's this way up. It's interesting because the packaging label, the actual address was on the underside, but it really does look like this way is up. Line in future reference, can we have an up? Okay, I assume this is the right way to do this. Oh no, sneeze. That's like curry powder. Curry infusion in this face mask here. It's folded it in on itself. Okay, right. Well, this does look pretty well packed, I have to say. So now, Lion in the past has like put little notes in as different things are revealed in the packaging. So we've got some little styrene beads in here. Okay, so I'll take this out bit by bit. Okay, seems to be one large block. Okay, it's reasonably heavy. Okay. So that appears to be that. Okay, I'm just going to throw away some of the detritus here so it doesn't confuse anything. Has been there. Okay, so I hope this is just not going to be lots and lots and lots of things, and then right in the middle there's just a piece of tungsten and a got you sign. Oh, I hope this is the right way up. Don't worry, I'm not going to do the next 20 minutes bursting each of these bubbles, but I've got to do a few. You know how it is. There we go. Nothing of any importance in that. Put that over there. So we're through stage 2. Now this looks like it might be where it gets a little bit more fragmented. Again, I still don't know which way is up, but I don't know. Let's think it's this way. Now, Lion does want me to take some detailed photos of it. I think what I might do is even get out the 3D imaging camera, and we'll actually make a 3D model of it. So if we can get the money together and find a location that will do it, to do either a nuclear magnetic resonance scan or a CT scan. I actually have this piece of software, or rather I know the developer of a piece of software called Volumetric, and it can read those kind of voxel data sets and allow you to produce animations, cut-through animations, and slice animations, and it's incredibly powerful. And maybe I can appeal to the guy for old time's sake to throw me a license, but still need to get the data. Okay, so I think we're seeing two things here. I think what we've got here is probably some thermocouples. He did say one of the thermocouples will be in the packaging. I think it's one of the toasted ones. So maybe we'll have a look at that first. So let's see if we can get into this without. Now, this is when it's useful to have nails and not have nitrile gloves on. Well, I think we'll be all right. Blow up dolls, James. I don't think we have it in here. Wait, let me just have a look. No, I don't think he included any blow up dolls. It's so just a little bit unfortunate, isn't it? Yeah, it does look a bit like those Matryoshka, Russian dolls. So Matryoshka. One of the few bits of Russian I do know. There's going to be some Russians out there that go, "That's not how you say it," or "That means grandma," or something like that. which it probably does, and I've got it completely wrong. So, okay, it's okay. It all looks so easy at the beginning. There we go. So this might reveal something more. I do suspect the yes. Okay. Oh, hello. So this is typically what Lion has found has happened, and this is particularly interesting. Okay, I really don't want to open this, but this is typical to what it does, and you see it's done a very large length of it. I'm going to bring it right up to the camera. So the thermocouple sheath, which I imagine was stainless, it's quite thick. But it has just, I don't know if the camera's going to be able to get on that. Can guys see that? This is a long thermal well, probably a stainless steel thermal well sheath. And it appears that it has been completely chewed up. So normally in these reactors, this tip down this end would be close to the hot end of the reactor. And this is just gone incredibly brittle. It's just completely fragmented. So now if this is stainless steel, I mean, there are some steels that will start softening at around, what is it, 1270 degrees centigrade, I think. But I don't think if you're making a thermocouple that is meant to go to whatever it is, 1290, or that a K-type thermocouple will go to, you'd want it to go over that. So I imagine this would be a steel that you'd want to go a little bit more up into the 1350s or 1400, I don't know. But anyway, I will look a little bit more and not talk just straight off the top of my head, but it looks like this thermocouple has just become, well, like a piece of carbon, really. It's just a brittle piece of carbon. So I can feel it's very fragile. So this is already showing that something happened in this reactor, and I can also see a lot of very fine fragments in there, which I don't probably want to release. So I'm going to roll that back up. And I will take some detailed photographs of that tomorrow. I need to try and avoid breaking it anymore. It really is incredibly brittle. Now, I will ask Lion, actually, if that was that brittle when he took it out, or whether it became more brittle, because the reason I'm saying that is the stainless steel rebar that we treated in the Echo foil making process in India, that came out as ductile, and it did this kind of sparkler thing, like you can imagine it was a sparkler, but it oxidized all the way through. Again, like Cu2O, the first oxide, it also did this FeO or whatever it was, a very low-level oxide, but all the way through the body, but it acted like a sparkler. And the interesting thing is they were able to cut off either side of the steel rebar, and then they went to lift it out of the vise, and it just broke brittly, like this appears to have done. It actually looks quite similar. So I wonder if the microstructure is similar to that rod from Suhas Raukar's lab in India. That would be interesting to see if there is any correlation between those two. Okay, so it does look like a carbon rod, James. You're absolutely right. It's exactly what it looks like to me. But I will ask Alan what the specification of that particular thermocouple well. Now, you see, this is not good. This is a bit of advice here. Don't have long nails when you're using nitrile gloves. So you just have to excuse me a minute. I'm going to cut my nail. No, I'm going to go get another nitrile glove. Okay, so I wanted to do that really because I just wanted another opportunity to put on another glove. Excellent. It's the problem with having big hands. Okay, so let's get rid of that piece of rubber there. So it actually looks like an old, as it's packaged right now, it looks like one of those Instamax cameras. But obviously we know that's not what it is. So what's the best way to get into this? So you watching this are basically probably I mean, you're sharing this with me, and I'm like number 2 or number 3 that might have seen what's happened in this. So you experience the destruction of a stainless steel thermocouple, thermal well, and the thermocouple inside it to a certain degree. And here we are going to see this together for the first time as well. Now, this has 2 active reactors in it. You had lots of thermocouples, so hopefully when I get the data card later this week or early next, we'll actually have, thanks to Looking for Heat and Martin there, sorting Lion out with fast data card and upgrades to the data acquisition unit, we may have the first reliable data set for a Lion reactor. Okay, wow, okay. Yeah, so I'm almost a little bit reticent to start taking this apart without maybe getting a large plastic sheeting, because I've obviously recognised that this needed to be sealed well, and he's done a very good job, I should say. Maybe we can get it in and out of this packaging. I think that's very nice. Thank you, Lion. He's put a little tab on here to make it easy for me to start pulling the tape off. So I don't think we need the knife anymore. And I think I'm probably going to remove the extra packaging here and just leave it down on this one for now. So give a better contrast and rather than white against white. Okay, so I'm just going to bring that up to the camera so you can see what I'm talking about. He's put this little tag here for me to help undo it, but you can see 2 reactors in there with the quartz liners, and yeah, so I think these might be the attachments for the power, and these might be where sorry, I was off camera there. This is the attachment for the power, and I think this might be where he drilled 2 extra ports. Or maybe he said there was ports at the top. I don't know. He said there were extra ports that he drilled in order to have backup temperature monitoring, which it would seem was a good idea, because you see what happened to this thermocouple here, which does not look like it's in a good way. Thank you, Lion. There we go. I feel like I'm unwrapping a mummy. Oh, hello. That's it. Okay, that was the first piece. Okay, right. What does that give me? Okay, he's got another bit here. He's normally pretty thorough about working in a different, like in a specific way. So, has he given me something here to play with? I don't know. Okay, so that is attached there. Where are we going with it? I'm going to cut that bit. Might end up coming from 2 ends, but okay. Okay, that stops there. That stops there, so he's got something coming around the outside. Got it, there we go. Lion, in future, can you have a coloured stripy tape so I can tell striped tape from bag? These are the things that are not always so obvious. Okay, all right. We're getting somewhere now. Very conscious of not putting any undue stresses on this, because if you recall, when we looked at line 2 and took it apart, there was some very fragile parts to it. So, and the amazing data that came out of line 1 and line 2, which you're going to see even more in the coming weeks, would not have been possible if these things were approached in a just let's try and do it all in 10 seconds way. Okay, so we're making some progress here, I think. Okay, I can actually see the pink and the bolt at one end here. Seems to be a slightly different construction to line 2. Doesn't appear to be any conductive copper wire wound to the end. Okay. Oh, hold on. I think I might be losing my time slot here. Don't go away. Okay, so I found I have 15 minutes to conclude what I'm doing here. So let's, I'm still not going to rush it. So what I will do tomorrow is get the camera, the macro lens on the camera, and take some real close-up shots of some details here. Okay, so okay. Aha, right. I can see there's a crack there, but it seems to, I can see where he's put the extra thermocouples in. We'll be able to show that to you very shortly. Okay, so now turn this around this way. Okay. Okay, still a bit of sellotape here, which is restricting me a little bit on movement. Okay. Now, I said the other day when line 4 landed that this will be the last of these kind of single tube or split tube cells that he's going to do. Actually, what Lion has done is he has actually commissioned a custom steam engine to take a number of tubes. So I think the reason he was trialing some copper shielding. Okay, this is actually quite pretty. So I guess with the friendly robot, it actually is this way up. So it actually goes this way around. So there we go. Okay, there we have it. And it looks like we have two different types of bolts in the end there. This one then only has some wire coming down to here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the camera off its mount, new camera. I'm going to bring it down and take a close look. I'm going to give you an opportunity to have a real close-up look on sort of various parts of this, and then I will pack it away for the night and take some high-res imagery. But for those that didn't see the damage to the long thermocouple, the thermal well rather, which houses the thermocouple, I recommend when this is over rewinding the video just to see the kind of destruction that happened. Now, let's see how we can do this. I think I'm going to bring the camera down to it. That might be just a better plan here. Okay, so. Okay. So let's have a look here. So it does look like it's split in half, this foamed alumina block, and Lion was describing how Alan had cemented it together, but this was one of, I think, 3 or 4 units that Alan prepared and calibrated to within a degree or 2 to be matched. And so there's a close look. We get close, is it going to focus? Pretty good, these webcams. Getting quite close. There we go. So you can see that between the two, there's been a different choice of filling bolt. This is the second one. And wait for that to sharpen up. There we go. And he has some maybe alumina felt around there. So he does say that these are welded in here. And they do feel like they're not moving, and that the quartz does feel like it's not moving as well. So I think these are maybe the extra thermocouples that Lion decided to put in there in order to ensure that he had some definite thermal data. Sorry, I'm working in reflected view. Something about Google streaming, you get this reflected view. Okay, so I'll have another look around this side. So you see the copper wire here hasn't come down so far, but he says in both of these cases he has like a number of windings of copper foil around it, and then the copper in this case on the outside is just there to really hold that foil, so-called reflector, or his thinking was muon reflector, in place. So let's see if I can get some other views just by turning this around upside down, and I get some sort of looking down at the bottom. Okay, so you can see maybe some start of something interesting going on the base there. So Lion seems to have favoured this core. I'm going to ask which core is which, but the one with the smaller of the 2 screws in the end, he seems to have put quite a few thermocouples, ports around, and again one of these had failed, so it's going to be interesting to find out what's so special about this one and why he had all that there. So I'm going to go around the back. So this is where the power is attached, and here is where the main thermocouple well ports are. So that is the Lion 4 looking for heat robot with these rather fused in. There's literally no play there at all. There's no play. I'm being gentle, but there's no play on that, and there's no player on the quartz. I'm going to have a quick, yeah, there's nothing that I can see immediately, and have to get a really bright light down there. See if we can capture anything with a macro lens tomorrow. So if there's anything that someone wants me to look at quickly right now, then I can do that. Otherwise, I'm going to call this a night for tonight, and you can expect some high resolution photography and maybe even some microscopy tomorrow of the things that are prone here, and the thermocouple well here tomorrow before I mount. And if this is the exciting one, I think what we'll do is we'll mount the webcam looking for strange radiation, even maybe right next to this bolt, because strange radiation will conduct, or the active agent should conduct down the metal, and then maybe be radiated from this end. So we can try that as a hypothesis to start with, see if there is strange radiation being radiated off the end. I need to look at the work of Keith Fredericks and maybe have a magnet here so that potentially we can see any bending. I have some, I think, ND52 neodymiums, the strongest I think you can get, and we'll maybe put one of those there. So thanks for your time, and that is all for tonight. This is the unboxing of Lion 4.